No one ever told her to stay quiet. They didn't need to. They spoke over her so naturally, so smoothly, that it almost felt polite. She learned early that being dependable didn't mean being respected. It just meant people expected you to keep showing up, to keep fixing things quietly, and to not ask for much in return. Her name was Elena. She worked at the front desk of a large hospital, the kind where the doors never truly closed, where the lights stayed on through the night, and where exhaustion settled into the walls like a permanent resident. Every morning she arrived before most of the staff. She straightened the chairs in the waiting area, wiped fingerprints from the counter, and reviewed the appointment lists more carefully than anyone ever asked her to. Patients came in worried, confused, sometimes frightened. And Elena met them all the same way, with a steady voice, gentle hands, and a patience that didn't draw attention to itself. Doctors walked past quickly, nurses moved with urgency, administrators spoke in clipped, efficient tones, and Elena stayed right where she was, anchoring the chaos without being acknowledged for it. People spoke around her, not to her. They made decisions nearby, important ones, without ever turning their heads. Emails went out without her name included. Meetings happened without an invitation, and when she did speak, someone often stepped in halfway through her sentence, as if finishing her thought for her was a kindness. She didn't argue. She didn't insist. She simply adjusted and continued doing her job. Because somewhere along the way, she learned that raising your voice was not the same thing as being heard. Elena noticed things others didn't. She noticed patterns, habits, the way small shortcuts slowly became routine. She noticed how certain forms were signed too quickly, how procedures were rushed when the day stretched long, and how easily everyone assumed someone else would double-check later. Most days, nothing went wrong. And when nothing goes wrong, people stop believing caution matters. Elena never stopped believing it did. She memorized patient names, not because it was required, but because she understood how grounding it felt to be recognized in a place where most people felt small. She corrected scheduling errors quietly before they became conflicts. She caught missing information before it caused delays. She solved problems before anyone realized they existed. And she did it all without announcing herself, without asking for recognition, and without reminding anyone how often she had prevented trouble they would never see. Over time, her reliability became invisible. People trusted her with responsibility, but not with authority. They relied on her memory, but not on her judgment. If something went wrong, she was expected to help fix it. If something went right, it simply moved on without her name attached. Elena understood this difference, and she carried it quietly. She learned that people reveal the most when they believe no one important is listening. She saw how empathy faded when convenience felt easier. She saw how rules softened when responsibility became uncomfortable. She didn't collect resentment. She didn't keep score. She simply remembered. Because in places like that, memory mattered. Or there were days Elena wondered when being dependable quietly turned into being invisible. She stayed late more times than she could count, fixing mistakes no one would ever trace back to her hands. Sometimes she watched credit travel from one person to another, skipping right over her desk, as if her effort had dissolved the moment the problem disappeared. And on the rare occasions someone thanked her, the gratitude felt casual, almost automatic, as if appreciation was just another line in a routine script. When the building finally emptied at night and the phone stopped ringing, she sometimes asked herself a question she never said out loud. How long can someone be essential and still be treated as optional? The question didn't make her bitter. It made her careful, because she understood something important. Silence, and when chosen deliberately, can be a form of patience. And patience, when paired with integrity, can outlast noise. It happened on a Thursday afternoon, the kind of day when everyone was tired but still pretending not to be. The waiting area was full. Phones rang without pause. Staff moved faster than usual, trying to stay ahead of the pressure. A patient's paperwork came across Elena's desk, already approved, already stamped, already cleared by someone higher up. At first glance, it looked fine. That's what made it dangerous. Elena paused, just for a moment. Something didn't sit right. She checked the details again, slowly, carefully. Then she checked them a third time. The issue wasn't obvious. It wasn't dramatic. It was the kind of mistake most people would have ignored, because fixing it meant delays, extra explanations, and discomfort on an already long day. She looked up. Everyone was busy, focused, moving forward. No one was watching her. That was the moment most people looked away. Elena didn't. She stood from her chair, walked calmly to the administrator's office, and knocked once. Inside, conversations paused. Someone sighed. Someone glanced at the clock. "What is it?" the administrator asked, already distracted. Elena spoke evenly. "I'm not comfortable letting this pass," she said. "No accusation, no emotion, just clarity." She explained what she had found, why it mattered, and what could happen if it was ignored. The room went quiet. Not tense, not defensive, just still. Questions followed, measured now. Careful. Elena answered them plainly. She didn't defend herself. She didn't apologize for speaking. She simply stayed steady. The paperwork was reviewed again. Corrections were made. A mistake was stopped before it ever reached the patient. No announcement followed. No one applauded. Elena returned to her desk and continued working, as if nothing had happened. Something shifted after that day, not dramatically, not all at once, but in small ways that were impossible to miss once they began. People waited when she spoke. Emails included her name. Questions were directed to her, not around her. Someone asked her opinion during a meeting, and no one interrupted. Elena didn't change her behavior. She didn't speak louder. She didn't remind anyone of what she had done. She remained exactly who she had always been. Only now, people were finally paying attention. Because respect doesn't always arrive with recognition. Sometimes it arrives with awareness. So Elena never asked to be seen. She never demanded authority. She earned something quieter and far more lasting. Trust. Integrity doesn't announce itself. It doesn't interrupt. It doesn't compete for attention. It waits. And when the moment comes, it reveals who people truly are, including the ones who refuse to look away when silence would have been easier. Some people speak loudly and are heard immediately. Others speak once, at exactly the right moment, and change everything that follows. Elena didn't raise her voice. She didn't demand respect. She simply refused to look away. And that was enough.